Rewind-A-Dynamite from the post-wrestling site. AEW, lighting up the fuse. Sit back and enjoy the bubbly as we hear from John and Wai-Ting. Where we're going, we don't need roads. And if the buck stops here, this thing might blow. Everything you hear are opinions of the show. And if you don't like it, go to the forums and let them know.
It is John Pollock and Wai-Ting with you to go through tonight's edition of Dynamite. Wai, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, not so bad. Hope our voices hold up.
Yeah, we're trying. We warmed up with all of the news, and it's still here. Wai and I are both battling it. Usually, we don't override each other with illnesses at the same time. Usually, we space these out a bit more, but we didn't time this one out well.
No apologies. I didn't know if it was your turn to be sick or mine. I mean, this is a cold that's been lasting a lot longer than I mean typical, but the weather's also been totally messed up here in the city in May. I believe like it was like down to like what 5? Feeling like 3.
It was freezing outside today.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I had to I still have my winter jacket out. You know, it's not packed away. It's just a mess.
Well, Wai is not going to need a winter jacket next week.
No,
Wai's going on vacation, or are you? Are you?
I am. I will have my passport. I believe in time after a bit of a close scare. Thankfully, my wife, as diligent as she usually is, checked and found out that my passport was about a year expired.
A year? Oh my gosh! When was the last time you would have used it?
Maybe to Cleveland with you, like for SummerSlam.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't go anywhere? I guess not. No.
Maybe not. I don't think so.
Wow.
So yeah. Thankfully she checked it out, and I did get my Rush renewal. So hopefully that'll be in by next week.
I was worried about you, but I'm glad that glad things have come through.
Hope so.
Yes, Wai will be on a vacation next week. In this seat next week, Bruce Lord will be joining us for Rewind-A-Dynamite. So you will be stuck with John Pollock next week while Wai gets some much-needed rest and can enjoy his brand-new passport.
Let's hope. Let's not jinx it.
Get that first stamp. Well, folks, on the news side, for those on the Café, the XL portion contains a big rundown of the life, the career, the legacy of Ted Turner, who, of course, passed away Wednesday at the age of 87. So we went through, obviously the influence that he had in professional wrestling, even though, like, as you will read a lot of the obits on him, like, wrestling is not going to be coming up all that prominently. Like, it's way down the list of, his resume. I will add, and we didn't talk about this, was this past year for the Observer Hall of Fame, I think it was the best Turner has ever done. He's at around 55%. It's 60 to get in. So I think it's like a slam dunk he will get in this year after, typically someone passes away. There's all this stuff that gets written about them. It should probably get him into the Observer Hall of Fame. And it's this interesting discussion because there's some who feel like, how can you not have Ted Turner in that Hall of Fame? The other argument is that, this guy, sure, he had a big impact on it, but this was not a guy that was working day to day in pro wrestling. He was not spending any kind of time on professional wrestling. But I guess the argument, you take Ted Turner away, it's a very different industry from 1970 onward, if not for a Ted Turner as well. We also went through the TKO earnings call that went down today. Just going to say, maybe the best crystal clear audio ever on one of these earnings calls. They weren't like on the speakerphone and all muffled. So I got like 20 minutes of like pristine Mark Shapiro.
Ooh.
Just going to throw that one out there, okay? And a lot of engagement. Plus, our recap of NXT. Maybe Wai and I, our favorite show at the moment.
I don't know if I want to say favorite, but it's certainly interesting. Like despite the lack of star power, I find it fascinating in this state.
And also going through the main event for Dominion, which came out of today's New Japan show. I am going to hope to finish. This past Sunday was the second part of the Curse of the Von Erich special, and I've seen about a half hour of Sunday's show. Like, it is, like, I hate the curse the term that they use for this. I think it's kind of like silly, but you can understand, I guess, where they get that title from. There is a brand new story that I had never heard on this one, where Kevin is coming home one night when his daughters were like toddlers, and as he's pulling up into the garage, his youngest daughter is like running up to go see him, and as he backs up, runs over her, and she ends up getting a ruptured liver. She's okay now. She's in the documentary, but it's just like, it's nuts, dude. Like, it is insane that like there are these near misses that like we're finding out for the first time as well. Like what this family has endured is just insane. But overall, I would certainly recommend this one. Like when it comes to Von Erich pieces, I've been very impressed with this A&E special that they've done so far. All right. All of that, of course, news-wise, you can find at postwrestling.com. And a heads up that on Thursday, we are coming back with Rewind-A-Wai to cover SuperBrawl 2.
1992.
Yes. A show featuring the Ted Turner-owned WCW with Sting attached to a championship program.
Yes.
All those things connect.
Sting versus Luger, and Luger's last WCW match until he came back.
Yes. Loser becomes Narcissus.
Correct.
Tonight we're going to North Charleston, South Carolina. Hard to get those North and South Carolinas straight if you're Ricochet on this show. WrestleTix announcing 2,300 people. This building, looking it up, it can hold almost 11,000 people. So this was a case of a very small crowd in a very big building. And I thought this crowd was going to be great based on the first match of the night, the Moxley Juice Robinson match, where they seemed to be into most of it. That did not hold up for all of the show, I would say. This was a slog at parts, going these 3 hours in highs and lows throughout this. But they started off with this great tribute to Ted Turner in the ring. Tony Schiavone is there in the middle and talked about Turner believing in pro wrestling, believing it should be on national television, and then brings out Sting. And Sting comes out, and he didn't really have much to say beyond referring to Ted Turner as an all-in billionaire. An all-in billionaire.
It was his way of really tying Tony Khan to Ted Turner. I have to say, it came across a little bit awkward. But I wonder how much time he really had to come up with what he had to say here.
I mean, it just kind of felt like, hey, can you please go out there and just say some words? And he said that even when WCW was losing all this money, he kept it going. And he said that, and that's a shoot. And then he transitioned to Darby and Kevin Knight for the AEW Championship tonight, and that Tony Khan is another all-in billionaire. And Schiavone then mentioned how the side plates on the TNT and TBS belts have Techwood Studios showing because that was Tony Khan's vision for those belts. And tonight is in memory of Ted Turner. They held a 10-bell salute. I thought Schiavone was really great here. The crowd popped for Sting, but Sting really felt like he was just kind of felt like someone that like met Ted Turner, but didn't really have anything to share about any type of memory or anything about Ted Turner beyond, he funded it.
Yeah, I didn't get much of a sense of any sort of personal relationship from he nor Tony Schiavone, but I mean, being on the broadcast network and sort of being the spiritual successor to WCW, I thought all of this was a nice gesture.
I did too. I thought Schiavone came off really well here.
It was a little bit awkward for Sting to break into promo mode, like mid-eulogy, for the main event tonight. But again, overall, like, nice little gesture to start the show off.
The first match is Jon Moxley and Juice Robinson in an eliminator bout. Their first singles match since September of 2022. And Moxley, early on, guess what? He got cut on the cheek.
Yeah.
And I had to come out for commentary later where this cheek just looked like it required some assistance here. They just kept bleeding. A lot of this was avoiding the left hand of God from Juice, and Moxley is staggering on the floor, gave a lot to Juice here, and then starts biting Juice's finger, catches him with a cutter, and Juice fires back, hits a cannonball, and then Moxley bites him and walks right into the left hand. And Juice is loose, gets countered into the choke, pile driver by Moxley, and puts on the Bulldog choke. Juice goes out at 14 minutes and 42 seconds.
I thought it was a nice match here. Nice aggressive tone to this entire thing, like most Jon Moxley matches. It felt brutal, it felt serious, and I thought it allowed us to see a more serious version of Juice Robinson that we may not have been reminded of as much without at least this sort of platform and spotlight. So
yeah, he didn't do any of the silly Juice Robinson stuff. It was like serious Juice Robinson, and yeah, I mean
they have good chemistry, these two. But Juice's role on the show though is not. You'll very unlikely see any sort of sustained program between these two.
Yes, it was his job to be eliminated in the Eliminator bout.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then we go earlier in the day. The Death Riders are training Will Ospreay, and man, did they like steal our warm-ups way that you and I were doing over the weekend? Where Yota is doing sit-ups with Ospreay's neck, just pushing up Yota here.
Yeah.
This looked fun.
Well, clearly it worked. Doc Samson said his neck is improving.
Yeah, I would think that flight would have done a number on his vertebrae. You would think, but I guess this is the counter to it. Mm-hmm. So Moxley, who's been taking kicks from Marina to the body, comes over and he's all gassed and he asks Ospreay, "Have you ever heard of Death Ground? It's where you stand. You can't leave. It's do or die. That's where you are now." And he says, if you can't get your neck and your mind right, then you're done. And you can hang around here in AEW and get paid like all these other posers, but you're different. You're near the top of the mountain. You need that 1% extra to make it. You're on the death ground. And then he lies down and Marina puts the towel around him, and we're about to get the big neck adjustment, the weekly adjustment. But Pac is going to shut this down. He's not going to give away their secrets on camera. You gotta buy that online.
Perhaps, yeah. Maybe that's why he's getting cleared soon. I continue to really love these Death Riders Ospreay segments, and in particular, I mean, it really is the strength of Jon Moxley. To be able to really turn the vibe of these into like something out of a movie scene. And I don't know if like he got this from a movie or something, but like whatever Death Ground is, it sounds incredibly compelling. And as they sort of like,
I'll tell you, I was there on like floor 130 on the weekend. That was Death Ground. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But I find this very compelling. Like essentially, what we're sensing right now is this is a very sort of like genuine maybe relationship between the Death Riders and Ospreay, and in particular in Moxley wanting to see Will Ospreay achieve his potential to be the best wrestler in AEW. And given the Death Riders and specifically Jon Moxley's sort of like tweener status, you wonder, well, is this actually genuine, or if there's something further behind this that'll put these two at odds in the future? But for now, it seems very genuine, and I'm really loving the pace of it all.
I think that this is. I think like this should be one of your big title matches for like later this year, and it'll mean something. Like people will care about this relationship by the time you get to it. If Moxley ends up turning on this guy, as opposed to just going right back to this match like after Dynasty instead, that would be my direction for this. Double Jeopardy: Dax Harwood and Orange Cassidy. So they joked how in the Eliminator match of Moxley and Juice, there was no one allowed at ringside. This one, we had like full football teams on each side here. So Ciampa, the Dogs, Rocky, and Trent are all out in the corner of FTR. And then Orange Cassidy brings out O'Reilly, Roddy, the Bucks, Copeland, and Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had 15 people here.
Yeah.
A lot of the match was built around Orange's injured hand, that he missed an orange punch and nailed the post, and this became the focus. It got slammed into the desk. Dax would constantly go for it, and then Orange is just fighting and fighting, trying to hit the orange punch. And at one point, Finlay nails Cassidy from the floor. Dax gets the ring bell, and Paul Turner stops it, and we get multiple attempts of Orange going for the punch. Finally, he hits it with the hand, gets a 2 count, and then just crosses Dax's legs into a cradle, catching him in 12 minutes and 9 seconds, prompting everyone to just brawl into the ring, and Trent and Romero get abandoned by all of their friends. And Copeland spears Trent, Cage kicks Rocky in the balls, and that was our segment.
Yeah. I thought the match was strong. It's a reminder of how good of a singles wrestler Dax Harwood can be. I personally don't know if all the lumberjack stuff added much to this, other than just a way to tease further feuds between everybody else involved. But all that was just take it or leave it for me. So what is the tag match that we're going to get here?
So Cassidy picks a partner to challenge FTR, which begs the question, why Copeland and Cage really, why would they be rooting for Cassidy to win this? It's like, we want the tag titles. Now these guys will get a shot. So, yeah, it'll be FTR against Cassidy and somebody. Maybe Mark Briscoe comes back for it.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, sure.
Also, the brawl post-match lasted about 20 seconds, and somehow in those 20 seconds, Cash Wheeler got his eye busted up here. Did you catch that?
I did not catch it, but
it was
unfortunate.
Quick. Yeah. Renee is with Jericho in the back, and he takes her microphone and heads out into the arena, into the ring, and he is done with these 3-on-1 beatdowns and this bullshit. So he demands that Ricochet come out. So out comes Ricochet with Toa and Khan, and refers to the mouth breathers in Charleston, North Carolina. And I don't think he quite realized this, but the fans got on him for this, and then later Jericho would correct
Thank goodness he's a heel.
Yes.
And not a babyface
if Jericho had done this would have been the end of his babyface run.
Yeah.
Ricochet says he is bored of this, of beating him up, but says, I've beaten you with your move. Now I'm going to beat you in your match. And he challenges Jericho for a Stadium Stampede match at Double or Nothing, but doesn't think Jericho has enough friends to get 4 partners because no one likes you in AEW. Jericho agrees to the match. He says, if I can't find partners, I'll go it alone. And drops Ricochet with a shot, sends GOA out, hits the Judas effect, but then Toa stops him from hitting the Lion Salt. They're really trying to make this, eventually he's going to hit this Lion Salt and beat Ricochet, but they're going to milk that one. And they stomp him down, and then the Hurt Syndicate run down. So he's got at least 3 friends.
Yeah, although I wonder if MVP will actually be a participant, or if they'll save the 2 spots for other people. So we know the Demand will have 3. They need 2 more. And then Jericho, Hurt Syndicate, and I have to think 2 more as well. Perhaps, two tag teams to add to this that might be feuding with each other.
Does he have a life raft that he can throw to Sammy Guevara to rescue him from ROH obscurity?
I don't see that one.
Yeah. The rope isn't long enough on that lifesaver.
Yeah. When are FTR and what are FTR doing at Double or Nothing? Do they have anything planned?
Copeland and Cage.
They've announced the match?
It's the I Quit match.
Oh, You're right. Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. So I thought okay. Well, maybe they'll have to find 2 others.
What about Jake Hager? Could he come back for one night?
Doubtful.
Or does he have a slap contest that weekend that might conflict? Maybe. Yeah. Renee is with Mina Shirakawa and Harley Cameron. And so Harley's been in this funk ever since losing the tag titles with Willow. And Mina gives her this big motivational speech and explaining how we can't trust Statlander, and then tears her shirt off. So Harley's just standing there in her bra, and this brings her out of the depression and says that the wrath is back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all it takes.
Whatever it works. Okada and Brian Keith for the International Championship. Don Callis starts stomping on Keith from the desk. Taz says his stomps looked horrible. And so Keith...
As horrible as Brian Keith's new hair?
Yeah, he's... if you look at this image, it's like, okay... looks fine, but he's got this thing growing out of the back that just needs to be gone yesterday.
This rat tail that he...
Can Darby maybe, before he does the big hair stipulation, he shave off some other guys' heads first to get ready?
Darby, please consider challenging Brian Keith instead. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. This guy, this little piece of hair is going to have its own bounty on it. So this was kind of every Okada TV match where... he gives a lot to the opponent, and then the big thing is when I do my my setup for the Rainmaker, the opponent is going to avoid the Rainmaker and get his one big moment, which was avoiding the Rainmaker, hitting a Tiger Driver, and then he tried for the Diamond Dust. It's countered, and he turns it into the Rainmaker and pins him in 10 minutes and 17 seconds. It's the misdirect from the Rainmaker before the Rainmaker.
Sure, yeah. All in all, thought it was okay. It wasn't bad, but I would say somewhat forgettable. But given like what
there was a lot of okay on
a very high standard for this show. Again, this was not a bad match, but was it enough to like stick around in your memory after 3 hours? I wouldn't necessarily say so.
Yeah, I didn't see Brian Keith volunteering to help his buddy Jericho. Where's Big Cass and Brian Keith when Jericho needs friends?
I don't think they're friends anymore.
I guess not. Okada says on the mic that he has the international title, unlike Takeshita, but I want more. He's coming for the AEW World Championship, bitch. From Okada, we go to Jet Speed and Speedball Mike Bailey with his client, Kevin Knight. He says how Kevin Knight can become Jet 2 belts tonight. And then Knight tells Bailey, let me take over the talking part. And he calls Darby a fighting champion, and you said you'll go till your body gives out. Well, that's what I'm going to do tonight. And I thought he was going to bring it up here, and the commentators did during the match. But the whole thing about Darby, you're going until your body shuts down, the whole story of the Continental Classic was Kevin Knight taking Darby out of the Classic when he hit the coast to coast. It's like, I forced your body to shut down and beat Darby and sent him out of the tournament. So they did make a bigger deal of that later. But what about this jacket for Mr. It's like Kevin Bailey's auditioning for the Beatles or something.
Mike Bailey. Kevin Bailey?
Sorry, I said Mike Bailey. I meant Mike Bailey.
Yes. The Beatles? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Sgt. Pepper, Mike Bailey here. So in all of this, I'm looking to see just like maybe how close we may be to them ramping up tensions between these two for that eventual breakup, right? I mean, seeing Kevin Knight be, I would say, so much more successful than Mike Bailey, I feel like they might be teasing some sort of like, jealousy story here that again is very sort of like subtle right now, but I do think it could be very possible that by the end of this run we will see these two at odds, and I wonder how close that may be to the rumored Montreal pay-per-view that may be taking place in July for Mike Bailey.
What if they face off in Montreal, and then Bailey wins and says how I didn't grow up with TNT in Canada and it's the TSN championship.
Whoa, damn!
What a heel!
I think that would get a lot of boos, actually.
Yeah, it probably would. Then it's the Ops minus Hook, who is off filming a movie that Joe set him up with. I want to see this movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw Hook when I was a kid in theaters.
That's right. Might be a silent film, I feel.
Well, Bowens and Shibata were auditioning for a silent film here because Joe did all of the talking, and he doesn't think his offer to Will Ospreay is being heard. And he says, Moxley is telling Ospreay how to think. I don't want to tell you how to think. He says that he can see Ospreay's momentum. He's ready for greatness. But how much of you will be left after you become champion? If you are by our side, you could have lots of time left. It's like this guy's on his deathbed or something. It's like, we can give you a peaceful transition into the afterlife. He explains how he could get Will in a movie, just like he did Hook. He's going to help out Bowens. He's going to help Shibata, who is only allowed to be his true self, the wrestler, here with me. And he says, I am reaching out my hand, and if it is not accepted, then I'll be putting out my fist. Now, I can't say this was one of the award-winning Joe promos, but it was hard to tell, Way, because could you make out half of this with all the talking going on in the background during this segment? It was insane. Like, if I was Joe, I would have just stopped this and yelled at these people. It was so distracting.
It was a lot louder. Yeah,
it was really loud. I'm listening to it. I'm like, how are they even continuing this promo? Like, I can hear it. This was just like, I don't know. This felt very indie.
Yeah, I imagine like maybe the venue didn't have a big enough space for them to distance like just the the sort of roster from this set, but
They sure weren't filming a silent movie in the background.
yeah. Well, I gotta say in general, like the ops are not at all making any sort of compelling offer here. Like, what is Joe basically telling us here?
If you come with us, you'll get more time left in your career.
Will Ospreay has basically left us on red, okay? Like, he has not responded to any of our prior offers. But here, let me sweeten the deal. I can give you a bit role in a B movie the way I have given Hook, all right?
Yeah,
and then he brings up, like,
if it was something of substance, don't you think he would mention like where Hook is, like what movie he's filming, who he's filming?
You could be an extra, like in Twisted Metal, all right? Like I know people. And then he talks about like Bowens and Shibata, who honestly, like, they've accomplished nothing since they've been in the ops. Like Bowen's good, like, you know, like he looks cool. He cut a really great promo on social, but beyond that, like, has he won any championships? No. What has Shibata done? Like, I guess he's allowed to wrestle, so he's saying what, like, we can get you cleared here. Well, I mean, Ospreay got cleared in Japan. He went to Japan because he couldn't get cleared in AEW. Anyway, they're not making any sort of compelling offer here, and I think they look like, despite like their arms crossed and being able to look really tough, I mean, the content of their promo and Joe's offer is just very weak here.
What if they offer to rebrand? If Will comes in, you can be the leader of the Ospreay.
They'll have to take that just for the merchandising. Yeah.
Are we all just? Is this just our haphazard way to get to Ospreay and Joe at Double or Nothing?
Clearly, yeah. But they could do a whole lot more to like improve the sort of like presentation of the ops. I mean, let them like at least like beat some dudes up in the background. But like, you know, for God's sake, get out of this sort of venue and shoot them like they are a bit more menacing, a little bit more unique.
They should have done this outside. This would have looked a lot more compelling outside, and you would have been away from the fucking cafeteria that they shot this next to.
Or just really, honestly, anywhere else. Like, make them look like an actual unit and make them look somewhat special than just guys in t-shirts.
Well, yeah. I guess they're still waiting for Bowens to fill out his shirt size.
Yeah, he hasn't earned that yet.
Mina Shirakawa and Harley Cameron against Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander. So Shida's avoiding Cameron, and then they get Mina in. She goes up for this long delayed vertical by Statlander, and Statlander once again uses Shida as the weapon for a snap suplex into Mina. I thought she killed Mina here.
Yeah, because I mean the angle of the suplex like basically had Shida's legs almost like right into Mina's face, and thankfully she blocked it with her hands. But yeah, scary.
Mina then sidesteps, so Shida takes out her partner Statlander with a knee strike, and it's Cameron, who showed a lot of fire in this match, hit a backstabber. Statlander then stops what looked to be a crossroads attempt here by Harley, and Shida hits her with the Falcon Arrow, pinning Cameron, pins Cameron in 11 minutes and 9 seconds.
I thought the action was pretty strong, and you know, as before, I think Cameron has been keeping up with the style well, you know, in AEW. Like Statlander, to me, I think still has a lot of issues with character, but she still shines really well in ring, and probably was the strongest performer in my opinion in the match. And I think Shida's personality is starting to come out with this heel tease, you know, whatever they're building towards.
Backstage, Swerve and Prince Nana. Swerve says he is after power. And power is deciding who eats and who starves. And he wants it all. Whether it's the most power or the most wanted. As he crumbles up this poster of the most wanted sign with Bandito. So I don't know if Bandito is like the direct line to power. But
yeah,
it's going to keep him busy for Double or Nothing until he finds the next source of power.
I mean, it's a pretty cool damn match, all right, and that's about as like maybe as much as we need. But maybe he will earn power through like a star rating from the Wrestling Observer.
It sure isn't the ROH Championship, which he doesn't seem to have any desire to go toward. That would be less power on Honor
I don't know
Club.
if that's a source of power.
Yeah, maybe not. And we go to Brodito, and Bandito responds to Swerve saying, "I'm easy to find." And Brody says there will be hell to pay for Swerve if you mess with my friend.
So it seems like they're already teasing Brody versus Swerve coming off of this, right?
Which we just had not all that long ago. They had the whole who's the most dangerous guy match.
Right.
Well,
maybe not.
Yes. Darby Allin and Kevin Knight. the highlight of the show, in my opinion. This AEW World Championship match. What a run this Darby Allin is on. A rematch from last year's Continental Classic that Knight had won, and also both men trained by Buddy Wayne, as is noted here. And Knight starts off going after the knee and leg, and Darby comes back with a big missile drop kick into a code red and then a tope suicida, and it looked like Knight just fell right back into the desk here, which the announcers call out. But he continues here, and he does his leaping Rana, but not from inside the ring, instead from the edge of the apron, sending Darby off the turnbuckle right to the floor. And as Darby gets settled onto the desk, Knight hits a springboard clothesline onto the desk, and Knight comes up, and he was limping here, and I mean, all the rest of the match was focused on this limping, so I just assumed he was selling here, but what a great job he did here, because he leaps off the buckle and gets caught in the Scorpion Deathlock, and he fights to the rope. There's a coffin drop, and Knight gets the knees up, and the announcers were just quick to note his bad knee, but he had to sacrifice the knee to stay alive here and not take the coffin drop. And they point to MJF going after his knee in last week's match. So he comes back, puts Darby in the Tree of Woe, and the move that took Darby out last December is hit here, the coast to coast, and just rocks him. Hits the UFO splash, but the knee is hurt, so it's a delayed cover. Darby survives, and then kicks out the knee, puts on a guillotine, and snaps Knight's shoulder on the rope, hits a coffin drop to Knight draped on the top, and one follow-up coffin drop to win in 15 minutes and 33 seconds. Just a spectacular match, and Darby is just on this crazy run of title matches, and he's going to have 2 more in the next week.
Yeah. By the end of next week, we could be talking about just 3 amazing title defenses from Darby Allin between this Saturday and Wednesday.
Dude, Saturday might be the best one. It has that potential. Yeah.
I thought this was excellent, and the challenge at this point continues to be trying to make every single one of these feel special and unique and memorable in their own ways, and I feel like they achieved that with this one. You had some really spectacular spots from Kevin Knight here with that springboard clothesline that initiated the match-long story, which I thought led to really great selling from Kevin Knight all throughout the rest of the match. I thought he continued to show a lot of well-roundedness, in his ability to do the high flying, do the promos, a bit earlier on, and also of course the selling in this match. That coast to coast drop kick was probably among the cleanest connections you will see on a move like that. So he continues to be really exciting, and despite the loss here, I think still maintains, I would argue, probably grew his fan base, through a match like this. So much like him beating MJF last week, I don't think negatively affected MJF. I think Knight losing here doesn't affect his status as TNT champion to me.
Yeah, I don't know if people will put this at the top, but in terms of the most complete performance, I thought this was it for Kevin Knight. I just thought he looked excellent here. I thought this match was awesome. It was easily the high point of the show for me. And then Sting comes out. He congratulates both, and the two do shake hands. And then as Sting disappears, MJF is out, stating how no one wants to see Darby with the title any longer. Give me my rematch. And Darby repeats, you're going to have to put something on the line. So MJF offers his scarf, and he's turned down. He offers the diamond ring, and is turned down. Then he offers Darby $1 million. And Darby explains that his money is no good here. So he asks Darby, what do you want? Darby says, I want something that you're willing to fly 15 hours to Turkey to preserve. You most vain piece of shit. I want your hair. And the whole place chants bald. And he says, next week, contract signing. And if you don't show up, you'll never get a title match again. And MJF is speechless, and he storms off to the back. And so that is, a stipulation that people will care about, but it does feel like for these pay-per-views, we basically have a title versus hair match. A Copeland and Cage will break up forever if we don't win the titles, and it just feels as though we're going very heavy on these stipulations. But maybe that's the feeling that that is what is going to make people buy these shows, which you just can't do these forever. But
I think those sort of stakes are probably the difference makers for pay-per-views. Not always, but I mean, you're getting great wrestling on every single one of these, like, TV shows. You're getting pay-per-view quality wrestling. So I do think like you need to make the pay-per-views feel special by adding, weapon stips or big stakes stips. And in this case, though, like, it doesn't necessarily feel like the Darby Allin sort of like tone of like seriousness, I do think like him attacking MJF because he's a vain piece of shit is like directly targeting something that MJF truly cares a lot more about than most. And I have to say, like, because of the stipulation, I don't really know if there's a clear pick for me here, because I could very clearly see Darby retaining and MJF getting that cut, whether it be for I don't know, like a movie role, or maybe just simply because like this head of hair, as full as it is, looks a little bit ridiculous, So I do wonder if this sort of like maybe. I feel the odds are very, very even, at least, about who may win this one.
How long would it take to regrow this amount of hair?
Probably not that long. No, yeah. But it's the embarrassment, isn't it?
Yes, the embarrassment of being bald.
Honestly, it might be an improvement.
Good. Yeah, some people like Kurt. Kurt never went back after. Bald suited him really well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about the stipulation?
I think it's one that, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be expecting an MJF win given the stipulation, but I wouldn't be as hardline about that. I think for reasons like that you could do the head shaving. Like there could be a reason for it, like you just mentioned. Like there could be some role, or it's just good heat to have the head shaved. Like why not?
Sure,
hair grows back.
It does. Although I think for like a stipulation like this, somebody should keep it at least like lowly buzzed for a while. You know what I mean?
Like Johnny TV.
Yeah.
Okada comes out and he wants the next title shot next week. And Okada didn't need to put anything on the line. He just got the match just like that. And Darby's like, it's on, bitch. What was it? No hair, no million. He could have got $1 million out of this guy.
Well, MJF already had his shot, I suppose, or at least they already had the match.
Well, Darby should be like, listen, this is pretty taxing. You guys got to make it worth my while. I don't have to defend this belt. Like, what do you have? What do you have to offer? Just gave it to this guy. So we're going to get Darby and Pac on Saturday for this Fairway to Hell show, and then him and Okada next week in Asheville, North Carolina, and thus we'll continue this Darby run that is quite the run so far. There has not been anything approximating even a very good match. Like they have all been stellar so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously with the pay-per-view match kind of already being set up and teased here, like the finish for all of these matches that are coming up on Saturday and Wednesday here with Okada are like, they're very telegraphed. But it's also the type of thing where, like, I think the typical AEW viewer does not really mind that much because you're in it for the great wrestling. Pac is unlikely to beat Darby. Okada is unlikely to beat Darby. But these matches are probably going to be amazing despite the outcome.
Renee is with Ospreay and our favorite Doc Samson. So Samson explains how Ospreay went against medical advice by flying to Japan to take part in 2 matches. And I guess this is not like commissions that will honor other commissions' medical suspensions. They're just like, well, you violated my orders, but hey, he says Will has actually improved and mentions his recent training. And he's going to have an MRI this week, and Ospreay could end up cleared. And then Ospreay is asked about his training with the Death Riders, explains he will never be a Death Rider. There are things he doesn't want to do, but that he has to do to get to where he wants to be. It was kind of awkward that he was explaining this to Renee. Be like, I don't want to be one of these monsters like the Death Riders.
Like your husband.
Yeah, these guys are insane.
She's been through it all at this point.
And is this the remnants of Marina Shafir's work from earlier, the towel?
Yeah, I guess so. It might be a shirt, actually.
Is it a shirt or a towel? Okay, well,
yeah. So
was it a Death Rider shirt?
That I don't know. Yeah. So he'll be cleared.
He could be. Maybe the MRI is going to reveal something worse. AR Fox against Speedball Mike Bailey. I have nothing against this match, but this third hour, it was just it was an extra hour.
I mean, it was an hour that was booked like a typical Collision, in that like the matches are maybe a little less, like they feel a little less relevant, even though like they might be really strong in ring.
This is how they always book it. It peaks like a normal Dynamite, and then we do like they had this like certainly like big all-star kind of 10-man tag at the end of this, but it was, everything was centered around Darby and Kevin Knight. So they remark on AR Fox, who looks like he is gotten in some incredible shape here. Bayley hit this incredible springboard corkscrew to the floor, and there's a DDT into a spinning brainbuster by Fox as Bayley rolls to the floor, hits a huge tope con hero and swanton for a 2 count, goes for the low main pain, which is blocked, allowing Bayley to hit Ultima Weapon and wins in 7.5 minutes.
Yeah. Good match. Keeps people hot. Again, I wonder like what his big storyline is, perhaps post Double or Nothing.
Okay. He's on his way towards the TSN Championship, which when he's in the U.S., he will defend it. I am the Triller TV Plus champion.
No, I don't.
That would be a real heel move, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's you can do it anymore.
That's why he's the heel. He's going against the company.
Oh.
Yeah. He's not a My AEW champion.
Oh, okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Willow Nightingale earlier today says she was honored today to be the face of TBS and represent someone who changed the landscape of cable. She's made 9 title defenses and tells whoever wants next to step up. Basically an open door to have a title shot.
Sure, yeah.
This is the title MJF should have gone for.
I mean, at this point, you wonder who else is left to come back for the comeback killer. And, it could just be because of the Ted Turner passing. But a promo like this that sort of like celebrates what she's accomplished so far feels like it could be nearing the end of the road, or like a setup for the end of the road.
How's Layla Gray recovering?
I feel like she needs a bit more time, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think she'll be the one to end this. So,
no.
Yeah. I mean, Mercedes Moné is the big name that's out there. I wonder if like Double or Nothing would be a time for that.
The Death Riders are in the back, and Pat congratulates Darby, tells him not to forget about him, and brings up their cage match history, that Pac is 2-1 against them, and therefore I deserve a title shot. He says he is one mountain that you will never conquer. Let's see how big your balls are, huh?
I love this promo from Pac. He sounds amazing. He looks really cool, but I mean, it's a great role. Like, I love the Death Riders, but I mean, for somebody like Pac, I do kind of feel like he's very underutilized because he's such a great promo. He's so great in ring, but he really just kind of plays third from the top in the Death Riders.
Yeah, this is who Zosiah should have been idolizing watching 205 Live.
That's right. I'm sure he did.
Best heel run of Pac's career, 205 Live. Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue. Yes, folks, we're late into the show now. So Hayter gets sent into the edge of the apron and face first and then to the barricade. Hayter starts hitting some Germans, an exploder. The Haterade gets countered, and then Hayter stops a knee strike. Code Blue is blocked, and then both go down from headbutts, and they fight on the turnbuckle, ending with a Haterade, and Jamie wins in 9 minutes and 20 seconds and stares down Tekla and Julia Hart, who are hanging out in the crowd. There were lots of tickets available, so they had no problem getting good seats at the last minute.
Yeah, nice match between these two. Hayter living up to like her hard-hitting reputation, and a pretty creative finish here with the Hayter right off the top. So are they building the Hayter versus Tekla again?
Again, that's what it feels like. Yeah,
okay.
Kind of we've been there, but we're gonna go there again.
Yeah, okay.
Don Callis family. This includes Andrade with the IWGP Global Heavyweight title, and they're with Davis, Takeshita, and Okada. And Callis pumps up Davis, who's going to crush Jack Perry on Saturday. Mentions Okada making another international title defense, and now he's going for the AEW title. And Takeshita steps in saying Okada should be worried about me at Double or Nothing, not Darby. So Callis says that Okada is his hand-picked choice for the AEW World title. And Andrade just leans in. How you know? How you know? And he walks away. And Shivani made a big deal here about how Callis ignored Andrade's title win. It's like, Don Callis ain't watching New Japan World. He doesn't even know what this belt is. It's AEW. Everyone's got belts.
It's
Which
kinda
one is
true.
this?
Yeah. What like Marina came out with a belt. What belt does she have? Was it the Five Championship?
Oh, I missed. I missed it
I
completely.
mean, she came out with something. Like I understand they have these partner relationships, but as a result, it means you have to recognize every one of those championships too. And whatever.
Well, that was the heat here. Andrade's title overlooked. Roosh destroyed Manny Low in 48 seconds with the bull's horns. This was an excuse for him to do his catchphrase in front of the crowd, which he did. And then we're on the.
He's looking like these are fine, but like I'm hoping for him to give me something a little bit more substantial with the promo, because like with these sort of squash matches, all you're really doing is setting the stage for you to talk and to say something. And if the squash matches aren't going to be necessarily memorable, I do hope for at least some substance in the promo itself, rather than just like a catchphrase like week after week. Like this is his chance to like call somebody out or to like say some like spectacular shit that at least like leaves some impression in our heads.
He's gonna set his sights now on Manny High next week. He's slowly going through the Manny scale.
Yeah. Brian is saying Marina was just holding the Continental Championship, so I guess that's it.
Okay, I didn't even notice her holding a belt. So Jack Perry is on the road with Luchasaurus, and he explains that he learned at a young age it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Mark Davis, you're just a big, stupid dog. And then Jack Perry proceeds to climb a mountain and says there's only room for one of us at the top. And if you don't like that, then fuck you. Thought this guy was on a Twitch stream.
Yeah, which is the same thing he said to Sean Rossap. Yes. Yeah, it's fine. Like he doesn't have a match, and so he's got a camera, he's got a bus, and decided to shoot this, and it was okay. I can't say I'm that excited about like this Jungle Boy with this run just yet.
Yeah, I don't know. These vignettes don't do it for me at all.
He's still like doing the Tarzan gimmick, I guess, right?
Sure.
Yeah. No.
Main event, 10-man tag. It's Claudio, Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, and the Dogs against the Young Bucks, the Guns, and Ace Austin. The highlight of this was John Moxley, who seemed like he was just in his own world on commentary. He's a very observational broadcaster. He just goes with whatever enters his mind. They go for like the 10-way vertical suplex that he calls a human centipede suplex situation that was freaking him out. He was uncomfortable with this. And he asks at a certain point, hey, where's Nigel? Isn't this Collision? They're like, yeah, he's not here tonight. Taz is playing Nigel tonight. He'll be there on Saturday. So a good match here. And they did get the crowd into this one late in the show. The baby faces are all sent off the apron. So it's 5-on-1 against Austin. He takes a giant swing. Then Colton is tagged in, and Colton gets put in the Dragon Tamer and stomped by Yuta. Matt does his crazy Northern Lights series, and then it's a Swanton elbow combo by the Bucks onto the Dogs, and a BTE trigger delivered to Finley when Yuta makes the save. Guns come in, 310 to Yuma on Claudio, and then Daniel Garcia back body drops Austin over the top rope. And if you were paying attention here, Austin comes down and he smashes his head on the edge of the apron coming down. I was just thinking, we are not going to see this guy again. I was wrong. He just roared back into this match like 15 seconds later. Like he was completely fine. But I rewound this. I was like, it wasn't like a grazing. It was like this guy smashed his head coming down.
God, would it be awful if like one gun comes back only for the other?
These two are cursed.
Oh my
like
God.
they really are. Yeah, this was Colton's first match back. And
In like 400 days?
They said that, but I looked this up. It was like he had his last match in July. So it was like 10 months, but still a long time that he's been out. But yeah, Austin, I mean, he seemed okay here. Everyone's down. We get the big triple super kick onto Yuta, and then the Bucks hit dives, and they leave Ace Austin, who hits Yuta with the fold, and it's Ace Austin winning in 14 minutes and 20 seconds. So certainly coming off that Okada match, it seemed like Ace Austin got some extra praise, and he ended up getting the fall here in the match. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that means for Ace Austin. Maybe a big feud with Wheeler Yuta.
I hope something to
He's
advance
really
his
good.
status.
He's one of like dozens that are great that you take for granted on this roster. But Ace Austin, he's a great talent.
I mean, say hello to this. Yeah, exactly. The entire AEW roster, or like every. I mean, look, Garcia and Yuta are just sort of like in extra roles here. You know, like imagine trying to be Ace Austin, trying to like break out of the pack. You know, it's going to require a whole lot. But I'll say like he to me felt like one of the standouts, along with Clark Connors, who I thought like. Had some good moments in this match. Moxley certainly was putting over Connors very strong due to his explosivity in the ring. I thought like there were some glimpses of like, Ace Austin working with the Bucks doing the super kick party that like made him look really good too. So I've been really enjoying this like Dog Riders, Death Dogs union, and I mean maybe one of these sort of like results of having such a bloated roster is that you could just like put these 10-man tags, 12-man tags, 30-man tags together, and you're going to end up with something pretty incredible. So again, not necessarily the most relevant sort of like in terms of story for a match like this, but in terms of action, this felt worthwhile for people to stick around for after a 3-hour show.
I definitely want the Collision 30-man tag.
It'll happen eventually, I'm sure. Yeah.
Do a whole hour of it. Well, at the end, so Fairway to Hell is on Saturday, and what's interesting about this is it's a 1-hour show that they are taping on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it looks like a pretty stacked card. I imagine plenty of like ROH tapings.
Well, they're doing the ROH stuff now in Jacksonville. That's where they're doing all the taping. So I don't know if they'll do more than this, but it seems like a lot to, bring people to the building for an hour. But I
can't imagine it'll just be this.
I would think that they'll pad it with more, even if it doesn't air anywhere. So it's Jack Perry, Mark Davis for the national title, Darby Allin and Pac, which I think that's going to be spectacular for the AEW title, and then Divine Dominion in action. Next Wednesday is Darby and Okada for the belt, and Way's favorite, a 10-man tag with Copeland, Christian, the Bucks, and Orange Cassidy against FTR, the Dogs, and Tommaso Ciampa. And that's in Asheville, so that's where Copeland and FTR all live.
Yeah, the crowd should be amazing, and I think the action will probably be amazing too with those teams in there.
So I would say Dynamite, I really loved that Darby Kevin Knight match. The 10-man was really strong to close the show, but this felt like a 2-hour show expanded to 3. I really felt that third hour on the show. And there was a lot of stuff that was fine, but it was also a crowd that was, not one of those crowds that was just keeping the intensity high for 3 hours either.
The standard for Dynamite is incredibly high these days, and this was, I think, a fine show, but not one that I would put near that caliber, except for the Darby Kevin Knight main event on Dynamite, which was very strong. Juice versus Mox was very good too. Everything was good, but when I watch Dynamite, you're kind of looking for great these days.
Yeah. So next week is a 2-hour show, and then the following 2 weeks are 3-hour shows in May.
All right.
But thankfully, you're back in time for the 3-hour shows. You're only going to miss the 2-hour way. Yeah, so I appreciate you booking your vacation around that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to sign off from everyone here on the YouTube channel, but a heads up that episode 2 of our review of the Hulk Hogan Real American Series, it's up now on the Post Wrestling Cafe, going through the second episode. Next Tuesday, we'll do episode 3, and then we'll be wrapping up episode 4. So that is all to come on the Post Wrestling Cafe. Then Thursday, we are reviewing SuperBrawl 2 as WCW goes to Milwaukee in February of 1992. It is the farewell to Lex Luger as he shows up, and he's looking very stout as he is getting prepared for Titanland. He was looking jacked.
Going to the WBF.
He was getting ready for his WBF venture and taking on Sting here in his farewell match. It's also the WCW debut of Jesse Ventura, and this also features the Jushin Liger Brian Pillman opener for the WCW light heavyweight title in 92.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
Where are you at, Way?
I'm about halfway through.
Okay, all right. I don't know how you do this. You are not home in the morning tomorrow, so you will have to watch this at some point.
After all this.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's the Iron Man, folks. So that is all coming up on Thursday. Pollock and Thurston tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Brandon is on the road, so we are going to be at the mercy of his. He might be joining us live from a coffee shop, so we might be getting a quite interactive Pollock and Thurston edition. So,
wow,
what better way than Thursday night at a coffee shop listening about the earnings report? So,
a cafe hangout.
It might be, yes. Yeah. That's Thursday night. Way is back Friday night with one of today's MVPs, Neil Flanagan, who helped me out greatly with coverage of the earnings call on the website. So. That is all coming up this week. And then into the weekend, Way and I will be back Saturday night right after Backlash, which, as of right now, is 5 matches starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time. If this show is done.
I have to think they add another. Because we're talking, 2 matches on the ESPN portion, right?
Yes, there's 2 matches. Yeah, you're right. They can't leave the rest of 3. So we'll probably get some additions to that show. But anyway, it'll still be an early start on Saturday. So we will have a Backlash show Saturday evening here on the YouTube channel.
John Kleinchester and Kate from Montreal will be covering Fairway to Hell. Fairway to Hell. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
On Collision Course this Saturday as well.
Yes. Okay. So all of that covered this weekend on postwrestling.com.
And don't forget MCU later, season finale. Daredevil.
Huge. I was so sick yesterday. I couldn't even watch the finale. I was going to hope to do that tonight, but that's not going to happen either. So yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers, man.
No, you care about that?
Yeah. I think part of it's been spoiled for me anyway, but okay. Yes. All right. Goodbye, everyone on YouTube.